Hello everyone! Today I demonstrate how to make Seascape. I think it's the most popular plot for artists and this exercise very good for beginners. And you can see I made preliminary sketch with a pencil for this plot, and now I start add color and I start from sky. I make gradient, and if you subscribe my channel, I think you know I like a lot this technique, watercolor technique, because this technique is basic technique in watercolor, and you can learn how to make gradient, and you can find some video on my channel about this watercolor technique. And you can see I add color and make strokes from up to down. I make short vertical strokes, and step by step I move it color to down, and step by step I add a little bit more water for my mix it to watercolor and change a little shade for more later. And you can see I move it from more dark color to more lighter color, because general the sky more lighter in this part, in the horizon. You can change a little bit color, a little bit shade for sky in this moment, and mix it another color. For example, I use ultramarine, or you can use color cobalt blue, and add, for example, a little bit red or violet, and change color. And now you see this part not perfect, but the most important for this technique, move it only one direction from up to down, and don't come back, don't change before this color be dry. Later I can add a new layer and change this gradient, make more ideal, more perfect this gradient. And now I need make the same, I need repeat this part and right part. I add again this color. You see, the most important, you have drop in your paper and move it brush faster and move it this drop. I make the same short strokes, and later move it this drop from up to down. And again I change a little color, change a little shade, and make more lighter color and move it. And again repeat the same movement. here I have a little bit more sky. Okay. Okay, now and here, yes, and here I can leave here part this line. Okay, and I check it. No need. Wait a little more time for paper be dry and add next line for change this gradient. Now I continue to make mountain. I mix it color for mountain. And mountain, the most far mountain, this background, have blue color. I'm sorry, I have a little problems with the technique, but now I think all is okay. And if you have some question, you can write in chat and I answer. Okay, how I said before, mountain background have color. And I add now color, but you see I leave a little this part white for add another color. Here. Little orange color. And next mountain, with blue color again, but here you see I make spontaneous strokes for showed texture of mountain. And again I use the same color, this is ultramarine dark blue, but I add a little bit umbra, mixed ultramarine with umbra, and a little orange color. And I use dry paper technique and wet on wet technique for mountain. little more blue color. Again, this is wet on wet technique. And now I take sky. I think I can add one more line for make better this gradient, but I make the same. I make vertical strokes. How I said before, important have this drop, but you need work faster and control this drop. For this, the most important and perfect if you make before this exercise and practice a little, make this gradient technique. Because how I said, for good gradient you need work faster and you need control this drop, and if you have a lot of water and your color mix, you can make a little dry your brush and take off this drop. Okay, I continue. Now another way for make sky and make gradient, this way with wet pepper technique. And again, you can find another video on my channel when I made sky with this technique. Now I use dry pepper technique. And maybe for beginners, yes, this is very popular and basic technique, but maybe for you, if you only start to learn watercolor technique, maybe it can be a little bit difficult, but of course you need only practice, and step by step you will make better and better. And if for you this technique difficult, you can use another technique, how I said, for make sky and make gradient, wet pepper technique. Okay, and now I add details again for mountain. But I think the most important for watercolor artists, for beginners and for artists who paint better, stop it for one moment and don't add a lot of light to pepper, because for watercolor important save this transparent color in your work. Okay, continue paint mountain, and this mountain more near, and you see the color a little different and have more green and brown color. Hello from everyone. I see your message in chat. It's so nice. And if you have some question, write in chat, and I'll be glad to help you with watercolor technique. Okay, I continue to add color, and this mountain, how I said before, more near, and for this I use different color, more warm. I use green and brown color. This again is umbra, and a little green color. And this work what I made today is sketch, is faster sketch, and how I say this always. This faster sketch is very good for beginners because you need to make all very faster and thinking faster, and it's good exercise for learn how mix it color and how works with a little bit stress. Finally, it's good for artists have a little bit stress, because if you make your painting quiet and slowly, your painting can lose emotions, because finally what is it, art, and why you like some painting and some painting don't like, because in some painting you feel emotions, and how make emotions have a little bit stress when you paint something. I think this idea of impressionism, and I like idea of impressionist artist, because emotions in art for me is very important. So you can see I make these strokes, and these strokes have diagonal direction, because I try to show it texture of this mountain. little about color what I use. I mix it in different color, and I mix for example green and red color now, and you see it's very interesting shade I have now. It's more natural color. And how I said always, and every time if you see my video, every time I say the same. Try to mix a different color for find new shade. Try to make experiment, and finally art is this. You have a little rules, but you need to find your way and find different colors, different way for mixed color. And for me, art is some game. And for me, in art, a lot of philosophy of life, because it's very interesting in art. If you make some mistake, you can change this mistake for. You need to find a way make this from this mistake some interesting art, some specific for you. And in art, finally, if you have this idea, in art you never have a mistake. And this is very interesting, because sometimes I think you understand me, sometimes in life you have some mistake, some stupid mistake, but you can find some way for win with this mistake, yes, for change this situation. And art, for me, art learn how make this. Okay. And a little about color theory. And now you see I use different shades, and here it's yellow, red, green, finally a lot of different shades. But interesting, these strokes mix it, and you have some optical illusion and have a new color. Okay. And now I start to paint, see, and I mix it blue color, ultramarine dark blue, and a little green color. And here in horizon you can put tape before start for make ideal line in horizon or not. And I use dry paper technique and dry brush technique for paint here. Because I like these small details, this texture with dry brush technique. And I make in this part horizontal strokes. And this part I want to make a little details, and this technique, how you know, called negative space. And for example, how much layers you can add in the watercolor? For me, 3 layers and no more, because with more layers you can lose this transparent watercolor. And I continue. I'm sorry, I have again this problem with technique, but I try to make more faster this plot. And And this plot I make with preliminary sketch with a pencil, but if you make something faster, finally you can make without this preliminary sketch. And this very good exercise for beginners, for study watercolor, for learn how work faster, how mix it faster color. And now you see I use this negative space technique, and I leave white board, and now I start to add a little color, and this is yellow and ochre color, because in watercolor finally we cannot do leave white paper, only small part or some illustration or some decorative painting. But if you try to make some normal, some realistic painting, you need to add color for white part. And general use warm color for light and cold shade for shadow. And here this part with shadow, and I mix it yellow with blue color. And again a little yellow for light part. And here and I need to make a reflection. You see reflection have more darker color, and I use again yellow and I mix it with umbra, this color. And if you see another my video, you know in general I use minimum number of colors, but and this So I need to make more faster because technique don't want help me in this. And how I said before, if you have some question, or for example you want I paint some plot on in my video on my channel, you can write in chat or comments, and I will make this plot special for you. So I need made some details. So, and the most important in watercolor, understand which part more dark and which part more lighter, and you see this color looks very similar, and now I add light for change this, for make contrast. And how I said before in my video, I think you know if you see my video. We have color contrast and we have tone contrast, and this two contrast is the most important. With this you make your painting. And now I need to finish my work. For this I need add some details. And for example, here I want this mountain, add little details, and here, and see. And here I add a little orange color, this some accent, and I need to finish my sketch. And this kind of sketch you can make on plein, for example, or it can be preliminary sketch for big painting, for understand which color you will use, and composition and technique, or for practice. And what important in this plot, first I made sky and with gradient technique, and how I said before, this is basic technique. If you know how to make this, you can paint finally all. I use this technique for sky, for flower, for all, for small details and for big part in my works. And later you need to understand different tone, different color mountain. The more far mountain have more cold color and more lighter, and sea, water, and this part have a lot of reflection, and I use dry paper technique and horizontal stroke for imitating this texture. And again, important understand tone and contrast, and understand, for example, this reflection more darker than both, and this part of sea more darkened than this. And with contrast and with tone contrast, you finally you make your painting. And the most important, some moment you need to say to yourself, okay, I made all what I can to do today, and I need to stop. If not, I start to make a lot of mistake, and in watercolor you cannot to change. It's very difficult to change this mistake. If you add a lot of layers, a lot of color, how I say it, you leave transparent of color, and you lose this watercolor effect. For this, I want to finish my work today, my painting today, and I'm very glad to see you, and thank you for attention to my art and to my channel, and have a good day, and see you next time.